All right, so we now have things more set up. Our plugins are installed. We have our theme, and now it's time to get into the fun stuff of designing the business website. So if we go back to the front end of the site, which we haven't seen in a while, we see here we have our WordPress business site. And it looks a little different than before, and now it says it's powered by Beaver Builder. So we're going to start here at the top under Customize. So it'll say your site name, Customize, New. The Y is the SEO plugin, and then the Purge SG is SiteGround Cache, and then over here is your name. So we're going to go straight to Customize, and we're going to start building this theme out and really adding the styling options that we want. All right, so over here it says the active theme is Beaver Builder Child Theme. If it's not, go ahead and hit Change, and you can change the theme that's installed, or you can install a new one. So go back, we're gonna leave it at Beaver Builder. They have some presets here where you can change the colors, but I've never found that these work well with what people are looking for. So I have changed it to this one, and it's been close, but people usually want a slightly different color. So you can see them here. You can also turn these off as well, so if you want a dark site. But I leave it just at the default, and I skip the presets completely. Next, it goes down to General. I click Layout, and I can choose, do I want full width? And full width is edge to edge. So from the edge of one screen to the edge of the other side of the screen. So I always leave this on as full width because I like full width sites. And the trend right now is full width. Content width, I don't really mess with this unless I really need to. Scroll, a button that scrolls back up to the top. If you're going to have really long form content, you can have an arrow that you click and it jumps you back up to the top. So that's what that is. And then the CSS Framework. So CSS is the style sheet. And this is saying what framework do you want to use. I actually changed this to a minimal of Bootstrap 4 or a full. I typically do full, but some people like the minimal. I like to just bring it all in. And then Font Awesome is which style of icon you want. If you go to fontawesome.com, you can choose, but I like the newest one each time so I can have a fresh site. So we'll click New, and we'll click 5. Next, we're going to go to Background. We are going to leave our background, or we're going to change it. Right now it's a light gray. We're going to change it to white. So you won't see a lot of change there. If you want a background image, you click Select Image, and you drag it into the screen, and now you have a background photo. Next, accent color. You can click the Select Color, and either put in the hex value of either your logo or the color you like, or you can just kind of drag this around and pick a color. So I can go over to pink, I can make it pinker, I can make it light pink, etc. And you see that the links have now changed. But I'm going to go ahead and use my logo color. So I'm going to go to my site, and there's my top logo. And I use a program called SIP Color Picker. It's for the Mac, and I'll look one up for Windows as well. And let me know if you have a question about that. But here's SIP. It allows me to pick the color. There it is, without having to know what it is. And I'll highlight this, and I'll go to Paste. And now it gives me red. And then a hover color, you can either do the same color, so paste that in, or you can make it slightly darker so when things are hovered over, it'll change. So for example, if you see here, it's hard to see, it's kind of faint. Maybe I'll make it more extreme here. So when I hover over it, it goes dark. Do you see that? Actually just like a subtle change. That's personal preference, totally up to you. All right, so next, after accent color, we're going to go down to headings. Headings are, this is a heading here. It's basically the H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 tag. So let's take headings. So you can style options for all headings. So if I want them to be black, or I can change them to blue, and you'll see that the heading changed here. And then these are also headings as well. So I'm going to change this to our red as well. And then you can change the font family here. So the top ones are system fonts. Anything below that is Google Fonts. If you search for Google Fonts, you can see a demo of the ones that are available. So fonts.google.com. And there are tons to choose from. So you can go through here. You can fill out this side thing here, number of styles, thicknesses, slants, etc. You can see featured ones. They have all sorts of stuff that you can dig through and get different fonts. Just keep in mind that certain fonts are a little slower than other fonts, so that may impact the overall speed of the site. So I usually stick with System Fonts and Helvetica's #1, which I like, and I usually leave it. Font weight, you can set it there. And then the different sizes are here. Typically I leave all the defaults, but if you ever do want to change it, it is in here. And lastly, instead of all headings, you can do a custom H1. So the H1 is the biggest and the boldest and a different color. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can be another color as well. So you can see here that it's a different color, and then H1's different. But I usually leave it on the all headings and I don't change it. Next, text. The default text is 808080, which I actually think is a little too light for gray. So I always change this to a slightly darker gray, and I do 33333 6 times. And you can see here, it's a little darker and there's a lot more contrast and it's easier on the eyes to read. So I always change that to 33333, so 6 threes. Next, we're gonna go to buttons. I usually leave this as the default. There's no buttons on this page, but you can do custom button stylings here. So I just leave it on default. Lastly, social links. If you wanna paste in like Facebook or Twitter, etc., you can do so here. So if I grab a link, go to my site, I'll just copy the Facebook link and paste it in here. And I'll show you where these come up in the future. So copy this, go down to, did I miss it? Oh yeah, it's right there. Google's going away if it hasn't already when you're watching this video, so I wouldn't fill that one out. YouTube, copy link, come down here to YouTube. And then lastly, we'll do Instagram. We'll leave it off for now. All right, so those are the general. We'll go back to header. Now in the header, we have the option to add a top bar. So we're gonna go ahead and add a 2-column top bar. So I'll turn that on and you'll see here that it's white and it has a choose the menu option. So under column 1, we're gonna add a phone number. So there's our phone number in the top left. And we can also say contact us. So put in a pipe there and do contact us. We'll make that a link in the future. Under column 2, we can have a menu, which we haven't even created yet, or we can have text and social icons. So we can say, actually I move contact us down here. And if you look, I wrote contact, but I didn't have to write anything else. It added Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube from that previous reference that we just did. Next, we can go to top bar style, and we're going to change this to a darker color. So do a dark gray, like that. And then we're going to change our text color to white. And I'm also going to change my link color to white. And then I'll do the hover color, which is when you hover over it. I'll click white, but I'll actually make it a slight gray. So now if you look, we have a bar at the top. And then when we hover over the links, they turn a slight gray color. Just to kind of give the effect that they are links. So I'll go back to top bar layout. I'll remove this pipe here. All right, so next we're going to go to header layout. Navigation right now is on the right-hand side, and we can change the padding. The fixed header of this page isn't long enough, so it's hard to see. So I'll actually move this up. When I scroll down, you'll see it says WordPress site remains. And you'll see that further in. If you don't want it to fade in, you can have it shrink. So I'll scroll down, and it just shrinks it down a bit. I can have it fixed, where it just stays exactly where it is, no matter where you are on the site. And this will make more sense when we add content. Or disabled is when you just scroll down, it stays at the top where it should be. So you can choose which one you like. I actually usually choose the fade in one. And I wish this was a little bit further down on the list here, but that's where it is. Header style, you can add a background color. Make this big again. So now it's gray. We're actually going to leave it at white. And then we're going to add, you can add a background image, you can change the text, etc. But I'm going to leave mine at white. I'm going to add a logo. So if you have your logo, just make sure that it's just absolutely not humongous. You want something under 50 kilobytes if you can. And so now we're going to go ahead and add that logo. On the left-hand side, it says logo type, and it says text. I'm going to click the drop down and select image, and it gives you a whole world of possibilities. You have a regular logo image and a retina display one. So retina display should be, it usually says 2x next to it, so it should be, twice the size. Not file size, but twice the pixel size of the regular logo to show cleanly on a retina display, especially if you have font types or different logos with lots of words in them. The fade in header, when you scroll down and that bar fades in, you can actually have a different logo, which is nice. And then there's the retina as well. And then finally, the mobile header logo. This allows you to change the logo for smaller devices. So say you do have a text-heavy logo. So you have words in it or maybe a tagline. You may never be able to read it if it's this big. So maybe you have a special logo just for mobile devices. So we're going to go ahead and do a regular logo image. We're going to go to Select Image. And I have one already added here. So just press Avenues, logo. It's 9K. And then the size is 608 by 352 pixels. The reason I'm choosing this one is I just want to show you that if you bring in a large logo here, it'll just jam it right into the header. So you want to make sure to use canva.com, Photoshop. I use something called, I'm going to space what it is, Affinity Photo, to shrink down the height of this. So if I don't like this one, I can click Change. I can bring in a smaller logo. So this one right here has a height of 100 pixels. Again, I'm going to copy the title, put it in the Alt, hit Choose, and you'll see the height change here. So that brings the height down and changes it up. And then if I go under Retina, I can select Image and choose the larger one, which was this one. Choose. And now you see it went from fuzzy to a very crisp looking logo, because this is a Retina display that I'm currently using this on. So I'll leave that at that. Next, we're going to go to navigation layout. Spacing's at the top here, but we don't have a navigation to show the spacing on. Search icon, which is this here. I normally turn this off. Unless you have a content-heavy website, you don't really need search, because typically everything's in the menu. But if you have a lot of blog posts or different things that people do need to find, I would leave that on. Responsive menu, do you want the hamburger icon, which is 3 lines, or do you want it to say the menu button? This is all up to you. Everything else I just leave as it is. Navigation style. Let's go back here. Submenu Indicator. So that shows a down arrow next to your menu items. I always turn this on to show that there's menu underneath it. And we'll have to create a menu to really see this. So let's go create a menu right now. So we'll back out of this. We'll go down to menus. It says create a menu. I always title it either top menu or main menu. So if I add other menus in the future, like a footer menu or maybe a menu just for blogs, I know where it is. So the location is going to be in the header, which is this right here. The top bar menu is this black bar at the top if I were to add a menu there. Go ahead and hit next. Give it a second to think. You see it went blank here instead of choose a menu. Now I click add menu items. I can click plus for adding home. So hit the plus sign and it adds home to the menu. See it over here. But you can't see it over here because I gotta close this. So there's home right there. I'll go to add, and we don't have any pages yet, so I'm gonna make pages up. So under custom links, I'll put a hash, which is a link that takes us nowhere. And I'll say services, business services. And then we're going to do an about page. We're going to do a contact page. And we'll create these, some of them. And we'll do a news page. And then to reorder these, I just drag them around on here. And then I close add items, and there's our menu. So we can go back, header, navigation layout, excuse me. Oh yeah, there's spacing. So I can make it, actually hold on, that's for the other thing. Style, and we didn't do a drop down, so you can't actually see that. Link color, we'll do blue, and our hover color, we'll click blue again, but we'll make it darker. Font size, if you want it a little bigger or not, that's here. I wouldn't go too huge, usually stick between 14 and 16. I've worked with a lot of nonprofits that help kind of senior citizens, and having really small font size really doesn't help people's eyes. So I'd stay around 14, 15. Again, the generals are the way to go. If I hide these controls, I can see how it looks. So we're getting there. All right, back to the top here. Go to layout. All right, layout. So nav on the right. So right now it's on the right of the logo. I can do it on the left of the logo. I can do it centered. You see it right there. Centered in line where it puts the logo in the middle. We're really going to do nav bottom. So basically now it's just under the header. It's the bottom of the header. So we have the top bar, the header here, and then under the header. And then once we do this, we get an additional kind of widget area here that says give us a call, 1-800, and has our Facebook stuff here. Now we have that above in this bar, which we can elect to turn off, which I think I'll just turn off. So I'll go back, top bar layout, none, but at least you got to see how that's put together. We'll go back, I'll go to nav spacing. We'll go to nav style. And then if you want a background image, you would put it in here. And then a background color, we're going to change this to blue. So if we have a blue background with blue links, we can't see anything, but when you hover over it, you can see it. So now we got to go and change the text color to white. And now you can see it there with the hover. All right, next in the customizer, we're going to leave the header area. We're going to go to content. Content background, we're just going to leave as white. You have the options to change the opacity of the color and then also add an image. Blog layout, it's asking for the sidebar on the right side. That's what we're looking at right now. I've actually been turning this off a lot lately. Having no sidebar and just clean layouts, I really like. Post author is up to you. I leave it on. Post date is up to you. And then comment count I actually turn off because I disable the comments. And I tell people my blog posts just to go to Facebook and leave a comment there or to send a tweet. Archive layout, show full text. I leave all of these as they are. Post layout, again, I leave these all how they are. And then WooCommerce and Lightbox, just go ahead and leave them. Footer. Footer widgets layout. Do you want it to display on all pages, home page, or disabled? That's up to you. I leave it on all pages. Footer widget styles are in here. So you can change the text color and the link color. The layout is in here. Right now it's one column. I can change it to 2. And then it shows a little bit more information. You see how it widens this out. The style itself, I can change the background color. I can then change the text color. And then I'll change the link color so you can actually see them. And the hover color to a gray. So that was nice and quick. So it matches my top bar here. Parallax is just an effect if you want it. If you enable it, you add an image further back and it gives the parallax look. So go back, back, back. All right, next, widgets. Widgets in the Beaver Builder theme, they're really just are the columns for the footer. So you don't see widgets anywhere else because you style it within here. And then the after post widget. So the columns, we'll go to the column, we'll go to add, and we'll go down to text, and we'll say contact us. And we'll put in a phone number. So you always want your NAP. So insert NAP here. Your NAP is your name, your address, and your phone number on every page of the site. And putting it on the footer is a really easy way to do that. Press Avenue address, street, and then our phone is already on there. And then I always put contact us, and then I put a link to that. So go ahead and highlight it, click the link. We don't have a contact page yet. Otherwise, you just click search for contact, it'll find it, and it'll be there. One thing about Beaver Builder is it does not put an underline under your links. Some people like this, some people don't. If I hover over it, it shows an underline. You can highlight the text here, hit Control U or Command U, and it adds the underline right there. So go back, we'll add another column here. We'll do a search. We'll go back, we'll go to the third. We'll add social warfare to most popular posts. So I can say popular news, and I can display the most popular 3 posts, which we only have one, which is the initial one when we've signed up for SiteGround. And then lastly, in the 4th widget slot, you can do recent posts, you can do tag cloud, you can do more text. Typically when I have a lot of spaces, I would do about the company. Info about your company here. And then I would have a link that says learn more, and it goes to the about page. So I'll highlight this, click this. I would typically search about, but we don't have an about page. So it would look like that. Or I can put the hash, and then I'd Control U or Command U to get the underline. So it's pretty basic down there. All right, so go back. I'm going to go to General and just change the accent color since we're kind of doing a blue theme. Let's see if I can get a blue I like. There we go. And the hover color will do darker. So the accent color changes these links here. And I'm going to go back to headings and change this to blue. There we go. And we're going to go back. Next, text. Again, we've changed this color. We're going to go to footer widgets code. All right, so code. You have 4 options here. JavaScript code, and this adds it in the scripts tags in the header. So if you have a plugin or something where you need additional stuff for that. Header code, typically in here or in here, you would add, this is directly after, oh, sorry. In the head code section, this is where you'd add your Google Analytics or Google Tag Manager or Facebook pixels. It's all up to you. And then footer code, same thing. It tells you where it's rendering directly before the closing body tag. So it'll be right here at the bottom. So just depending on where you want it, but typically in the head is where you want your Google Analytics. Settings, site identity is just the title of the site up here. So I would change this to the name of your company and then the tagline of your company. So I don't really use a tagline, so I have no tagline there. Next, we have the site icon. This is the little icon that shows up in people's browsers. In Chrome, you typically don't see this. You do see it in Firefox, Safari, etc. Or if people save it as a bookmark, you see it as well. You want your icon to be 512 by 512 pixels, so it's a perfect square. It does not need to be a .ico, which is a .icon file. It can just be a regular file. So I have a JPEG, so I'll pull that in, which is 512 by 512. I copy the title, I paste it in the Alt, hit select, and now it shows here an example. There's Press Avenue there, super hard to read when it's teeny tiny. You can see it up there as well. But I do like to set that. If people ever save the shortcut on their phone, it kind of looks like an app button as well. So keep that in mind. Homepage settings. So this here says, right now it's displaying our latest posts. Well, it's a business website, so I want to show a static page. So I click static page, and then all we have is one post. So I'm actually going to add a new page. I'm going to call it the home page. So click add, and I spelled it wrong. So I'll actually add another one. I'll call it home, and we'll fix that in a moment. So home is our home page, and posts is going to be, I'm going to add a new page. I'm going to call it news, and that'll be our post page. So posts are our blog, our news, our PR, anything like that. If you're not going to update it or have any news, just get rid of it and don't have a posts page. So under here, just go back to just select. All right, going back in the customizer, back again. Menus we already visited. We do have a couple actual pages now. So we go to add items, pages, and now it says home as the page. So I can click home, drag it to the top. This is a custom link one, so I'll just get rid of it. And then we now have news. So I'll drag that under news, and I'll delete the one that says custom link. And then I'll go ahead and go back and back again. Additional CSS, if you ever want to style any of this, we can make a whole nother video about this. You can add it in here. And then export and import, you can install and activate this. You can export out your customizer settings and import them into another site where you'd have this style be exactly the same as maybe Press Avenue number 2 that you're making, or business site number 2. Now that we're done with this, we're going to go ahead and hit publish. And then we're going to go basically to the home page. We'll hit X. And here we are on the home page. So not the best looking site so far, and now we're going to start leveraging Beaver Builder more. We've really just created this header area, the menu, and this footer down here. Now we're going to edit this area right here where it says home and edit to really make it actually look like a website. Thanks again for watching this video. Just remember, just below me in the description, you can click the little arrow to expand it. You'll see links to the other tutorials in this series. So if you don't need one, you can skip ahead or you can go back. Additionally, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if any of this is helpful, and let us know in the comments if you need help along the way. Thanks again for watching. Right below me is also a square. If you hover over that, you can easily subscribe to this video. Right next to it's a circle, which will bring you to our website so you don't have to type anything. And then over here on the right is the next tutorial in the playlist, as well as the most recent upload. Thank you so much for watching.